about changing locations and shit. Man, into this motherfucking bag. Stand on the way I made. Sacrificing time for this shit. Man, I got a plan. Tried to tell niggas years ago. They ain't understand. Riding by myself and it's cool. I'm all in my head. Everything in life you can't replace. I build relationships. Pretty little smile make a nigga wanna lock it in. We met the same time I lost a friend. We should try again. You been on my mind. You should hop in. I ain't gon' hurt you, baby girl. You know we locked in. Used to be on FaceTime calls on the regular. Never made time, landed on my busy schedule. Now every time I hit the bay, you know I think of you. Working on
Henny the Moore reporting live from the liquor store, man. And when all three of us come together, man, it's Cowboys Uncut.
Scottis.
West Coast Cowboy in the middle, the Kanye West of this content stuff.
And I'm a day one type of girl. Ain't nothing wishy-washy over here. I don't jump around, stick to one side. Yeah, the silver, the blue, we got them in their feelings. That star on the field, come pay the D a visit. They say it's hatred, is it? I call it hate and simping. Cause if we wasn't that hating, they wouldn't be in our business. Listen, West Coast say the water tastes better. The fan base go harder, and all the ladies get wetter. Yeah, that's how it is when you straight reppin' for Dallas. We get it in the trap, and landlord tell us what's happening. No explanations in no shape, form, or fashion. When Henny drop the stats, ain't nothing else to be asking. Them numbers don't lie, that's why your argument dry. And we still got them rings, you got your eyes on our prize. Whether an eagle, a giant, or a commando, you in the parking lot crying, we in the Lambo. We stay in our bag, we run it up in the draft. You still talking about the 90s, so who's stuck in the past? Get off me, and I'ma need you 6 feet back. And we ain't hearing nothing till your team beat that. And we ain't scared of running. So one team over here is Cowboys, believe that. Yeah, this you got is the poet. Big up West Coast Cowboy, HTM Sports, and Landlord from Alabama. Y'all check them boys out, man. Don't play around with the Cowboys content. Yeah, and you know it's DC. Yeah, DC4L. All day, every day.
My dear Aunt Sally, we is at the P right now. We got to go to free agency, then we got to go to draft, then we can talk about training camp.
And Stephen Jones, who's also a multi-millionaire, moves and feels like a what? Like a dude that is got $15 in his bank.
Was getting tossed around before the draft, but since the draft, I say building team interest because they don't have a receiver coming out of the draft, and so there's plenty of options on the table. Whether it's a George Pickens or a Rashod Bateman, we talked about those as far as trade targets. There's trade targets around the league, and I think that's what Dallas is really trying to sort through at the moment to try.
And we are live. What's good with y'all, man? It's your boy, Henny the Moore, reporting live from the liquor store, man. How's everybody doing? And hey, man, it's Saturday, man. You know, it's Saturday, it's the weekend. You done grinded hard as a mug through the week, man. You done put that 40 in. And it's time to treat yourself, man. It's time to come on in, get you a bottle, and we finna get drunk off the Dallas Cowboys content together, man. Hey, salute to my brother, Boss Cowboy, man. We were just live late last night, giving y'all the film breakdowns on Rashod Bateman and a bunch of different other folks. So I need y'all to go to that video on both pages. If you have not done so, go find it, go watch it. Very informative. And Torch in hand said, "Can I have the first shout out, please? I'll sub." Hey, shout out to Torch in hand. Do you got any content you pushing? Are you just a supporter? What you over there doing in the chat box? But salute to you, man. But yeah, sub up. If you ain't already subbed up to the page, everybody hit that sub button. My boy said Cowboys are the greatest team in American history. I agree with you, Mar. My boy said the Cowboys are the greatest team ever constructed, the greatest franchise in North American history. Like, I also agree with that statement, Mar. Salute to you, my boy. Salute to you. But listen, the film already spoke for itself. We did a very deep dive into the film about Rashod Bateman. Yeah, it was very informative, man. Like, it was very informative. So this is one time, because we're gonna talk numbers, but I want you to know beforehand the numbers already match the film. And if you don't believe me, you can go to the film breakdown from last night. It's on my channel. It's on Boss Cowboys channel. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to take a quick second to put the link for the video in the chat box just in case you want to go check it out. But I want you to know that the film already matches the numbers when we sit here and talk about it. Now, if you're just now sliding in, the reason we are talking about Rashod Bateman is that Nick Harris mentioned him along with George Pickens as trade targets for the Dallas Cowboys they were trying to work through. Now, a lot of people just heard George Pickens' names and ran with it because he is the bigger name over there in the AFC North. But the Dallas Cowboys apparently were also interested in former first-round pick Rashod Bateman. Right, I'm gonna play the clip for y'all one more again, just in case you're wondering, like, who is Rashod Bateman and why we're talking about him. This is why we're talking about Rashod Bateman.
Was getting tossed around before the draft, but since the draft, I say building team interest because they don't have a receiver coming out of the draft, and so there's plenty of options on the table. Whether it's a George Pickens or a Rashod Bateman, we talked about those as far as trade targets. There's trade targets around the league, and I think that's what Dallas is really trying to sort through at the moment to try.
So Rashod Bateman, man, is a former first-round pick. He was the 27th overall pick by the Baltimore Ravens in 2021, and he doesn't get a lot of fanfare. It's really been the injuries that have derailed a lot of his production, being in a run-heavy offense, but he is somebody that has some talent. He is somebody that has some potential, and I want to sit here and talk with y'all about his background and who this kid really is. Because, listen, it might happen, and I want us to be very informed if it does come down the pipeline that Rashod Bateman is going to be a Dallas Cowboy, right? So let's first start off with his college production. Now, he had to ball in order to be a first-round pick coming out of the Big Ten in a loaded wide receiver draft class. He said, "I got to charge my phone." Yeah, man. Hey, y'all show love the boss, man, because we were up to damn near 1 o'clock breaking that film down and looking at Rashod Bateman and some different other folks over there. So y'all make sure that y'all show some love to boss. Next time we go live, make sure y'all hit his cash app. Make sure y'all hit his super chat. Hell, make sure y'all hit mine, man. We're back monetizing the liquor store. So if you want to show some love, buy a bottle or two, man. Get bottle service. All you got to do is hit the super chats with the cash app, man. All you got to do is hit the super chats with the cash apps. But in a loaded wide receiver class, in order for him to be a number one pick, he had to ball. And according to PFF, remember, take PFF with a grain of salt, but he was the highest rated wide receiver in the Big Ten coming out of college. And that was even over Chris Olave, who we know was a certified first-round talent and a certified dog coming out of Ohio State, right? And if you're wondering about his collegiate production, this was a man in 2019 who had 1,219 yards and 11 touchdowns in only 13 games. Like, he was a producer. He was a big playmaker. He was one of the most highly touted prospects coming out of college football. Hey, shout out to my boy JR, man, for the $9.99 for your mind, man. He said, "Welcome back, G." Man, I'm happy to be back, bro. Me and Landlord went through a lot to get our pages back monetized. We went several months without getting paid for anything. It was just off the love of the game, really, man. Every time we went live, we knew that it was free content, and we still did it because we love y'all, man, and we love making this content on the cool. On the cool, man, like we just love this shit. So even knowing that, we still went live consistently and brought y'all this content, man. I just appreciate y'all for supporting us through this entire Rico and helping your boys stay afloat, man. Also, shout out to my boy Money Sky in the chat as well. He said Henny beat the Rico with the 199. Yeah, man. We ain't have to snitch on nobody. We remain real niggas in the process. Our face card is clean. We ain't snitch on nobody from Harlem, man. Matter of fact, y'all go watch Paid in Full, man. If you ain't watched it in a minute. If you ain't watched Paid in Full in a minute, you go watch it, man. Still a classic to this day. Hold that thought. Jay, you too loud, son. All right. But back to what I was talking about. So, yeah, man. So he was one of the most productive wide receivers coming out of college. The highest graded wide receiver coming out of the Big Ten, even over Chris Olave from Ohio State. And he was a guy that had true production. Now, when you look at the 2020 season, I want to add proper context to that. Remember, in 2020, something horrible happened to the world. The world shut down, and COVID happened. Salute to you, God is the poet, as well, for sliding in. I see you in there supporting, showing love. Everybody, make sure y'all hit that like and share button on the way in, though. Make sure y'all hit that like and share button. I appreciate y'all for rocking with your boy. But yeah, so the world stopped. They had COVID, and you know, a lot of guys opted out, right? And even in a 5-game shortened season, he had 472 yards and a couple scores. What's actually impressive about that, and really showed his character, right? He did an interview leading up into the drafting process. He opted out originally because he actually caught COVID-19. So remember, a lot of folks opted out as a precaution to prevent from getting sick. Rashod Bateman actually had COVID-19 in 2020. And then he went on to say, during his fight with COVID, he lost over 10 pounds. So he got down bad sick. He lost 10 pounds. And he still decided, in the midst of a COVID-shortened season, to come back and play. Remember, he was already going to be a first-round pick regardless. Michael Parsons, a superb defensive player, he did not play a single snap in 2020 going into the draft. He opted out. He never played a snap. And he was still a first-round pick. The same would have been the case for Rashod Bateman. Right? Rashod Bateman would have still been a first-round pick. But he decided to come back, support his guys, and play even after getting sick with COVID-19 and losing a ton of weight. And when you talk about guys that fit what Shotty is trying to build, high character guys, team-oriented guys, that sounds like somebody that Schottenheimer would love to have in Dallas, right? And that's beside the production. So remember, we're going from where he started to where he at now, and why we going to like him if he does become a Dallas Cowboy. Matter of fact, I got some clips from him in college. I don't have actual All-22 film, but I do have some clips of his play in college. It's about a minute long. I'm going to play it for y'all just to see what I'm talking about when I'm describing Rashod Bateman coming out of Minnesota and why he was highly touted as a first-round pick.
Superb route runner, 4.43 speed that shows up on tape. A good athlete but a great route technician. Release package allows him to win at the line quickly. Highest graded WR in the Big Ten according to PFF.
and that was a little bit of film that I had constructed for Rashod Bateman. So look, a lot of what they said at the end is sort of true. When you talk about Rashod Bateman and what he brings to the table, while he does have 4.43 speed, what's most impressive about him is his route running ability. Like, if you watch the film session that me and Boss did last night, there was not a single time that they played zone against the Ravens and Rashod Bateman did not find the hole. And that's very impressive because in real time, you have to decipher where the hole in the opening is in the zone. Because the hole is different in cover 2 than it is in cover 3. The hole is different in cover 6 than it is in cover 4, and so on and so forth. You also gotta acknowledge if they're playing match coverage or not. So is the zone going to turn into man the moment I sit in it, right? These are all different things that you got to understand while playing the game at full speed in order to beat zone coverage. And when you cut the film on, he does exactly that. Now, when you talk about, and this is scouting report, by the way, right? Because remember, I'm going from the genesis of the boy and going up to now, right? So I'm going to show you who he is coming out of college and what happened to him for him to even be in trade discussions. Because he was a great wide receiver coming out of college. I had to educate myself, right? But up to this point, like, he's shown a lot of stuff that I really, really, really liked. So I just wanted to share this information with y'all, as we go through this list. So, according to this scouting report that I was able to find on Rashod Bateman, man, they say he brings length and advanced skill set at the wide receiver position that easily translates to the NFL. Bateman lined up on the outside for Minnesota, where he was tremendously productive, but also asked to align in the slot during his junior season, in which he continued to display his route running savvy. Bateman is already very good on his releases and overall route trees, consistently beating press with good foot quickness and varied hand usage, and showing tight footwork on his route tops. He shows good, reliable hands and catching range, and is comfortable extending away from his body over the middle or high pointing throws. His very good body control shows up when adjusting for throws and also through contact on his routes. He's a good overall athlete who has shown that he has the long speed to pull away from defenders on deep routes and with the ball in his hands, but he doesn't have true game-breaking speed and lacks the lateral quickness and ability to make a ton of defenders miss, instead preferring to immediately get north, which isn't bad. I'm not mad at that. Bateman has a high floor and can contribute to any offense on day one. He also has the high ceiling of being a top-tier X-wide receiver in the NFL, with the ability to also line up in the slot for whichever play caller wants to highlight him. So that is everything they had to say about Rashod Bateman coming out of college. So again, he ended up going to the Ravens, number 27 overall. The issues, though, with Rashod Bateman, outside of the way he's utilized in the scheme, has been his health history. Like, he has not consistently been healthy in the National Football League. So going into his rookie season, the first of the litany of injuries that bothered young Rashod Bateman was he had to have groin surgery. He had a groin injury that required surgery at the beginning of his rookie season. This made him miss the first 4 games of the season. If I'm not mistaken, it also caused him to miss a lot of the preseason stuff. Yeah, Money Sky, we looked at his Instagram too. And this is all I'm going to say about that. These young guys dress funny compared to what we used to dress as. Like, you look at CeeDee Lamb's Instagram, he also dresses a little out there for what somebody my age would have dressed like. But at the same token, when I was growing up, it was the tall T era, We were rocking polos. We were rocking Coogee suits and Jordans. You know, it's a different time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to judge these young cats for how they dress, because I know the way that we dressed to the older crowd back then, you know, they looked at us sideways as well. You know what I'm saying? So it looks funny to me as well because of my age, but I know I'm not going to clown the young folks, because if we go back and look, we probably had some very questionable fashion choices of damn selves. So what up with you, Mr. Holmes? I see you tapping in. Thank you for coming in and showing love to the liquor store, my brother. Yeah, the bold jeans with the straps. You know what I'm saying? Man, well, I think we were clean as hell, though, on the cool. I think we were still clean as a motherfucker. They said they do it for the hoe. But, hey, we got clean for the bitches, too, though. Well, we old as dirt. We old as hell, dog. But, yeah, man. So Rashod Bateman, the injuries came quick. So he had groin surgery his rookie year, missed 4 games. He had the Jordan Lewis injury his second year in the National Football League. Now you remember, Jordan Lewis had a Linfrax fracture in his foot that sidelined him for forever. Like, Jordan Lewis Linfrax fracture was so severe, they had to end up changing like his cleat. Like, he had to have something instead of his cleat to give him an arch back in his foot. That's how bad the Linfrax injury for Jordan Lewis was. He had a very similar injury to Jordan Lewis last year. Not last year, but he had a very similar injury to Jordan Lewis, and it made him miss 11 games out of a possible 17. So in his first 2 seasons in the National Football League, he missed 15 games combined. Because he missed 4 as a rookie, right, dealing with a groin injury that required surgery, and then he got shut down year 2 with a broken foot Linfrax fracture that robbed him of 11 games. So he missed 15 games his first 2 seasons. You know, when you start behind like that, you know, you don't really get a chance to develop like you want to. What up, Q-Ball? Thank you for tapping in and showing love to the liquor store, man. Yeah, we listen. Liquor store is back in full effect. We back monetized. We giving out bottles. We thugging. We talking football. We having a great time. So hit that like button. Hit that share button. Slap the dog shit out of an Eagles fan, because you know they deserve it. And hit that Cash App if you got time, man, or a couple dimes. Anything goes a long way out here when we making content, man. And I just want to say I appreciate y'all in advance, because I know y'all real. I know y'all real, so I'm just saying thank y'all in advance, because y'all is like that. But yeah, so Rashod Bateman ended up getting robbed basically his first 2 years, and then, you know, the most important thing when you're coming back from injury is not really improving, it's getting your health back together. So he had to get his health back together in year 3, but they gave him a 360 deal. Right, they ended up signing him to a bullshit contract right before the 2024 season. They gave him a 2-year extension. Right, they gave him a 2-year extension, about $6 million a year to play football. Remember, this is a guy that was a former first-round pick. His 5th-year option, which I believe they declined when they gave him this bullshit extension, would have paid him way more money than that. His 5th-year option would have been about $20 million for a singular year. They gave him a 2-year deal for $12 million. And really, because of the injuries and everything else that happened with him, he had to take it. He had to take it. But what happened now, you know what I'm saying? What happened this year is he turned the corner. He was healthy and he was productive, right? When we talk about the boy, Rashod Bateman. So look at the raw numbers for a second and soak it in. Look at the raw numbers from Rashod Bateman and soak it in real quick, man. What he was able to accomplish, you know, after a prolonged period of time of dealing with injuries, dealing with rehab, dealing with not getting targets really in the offense. Because remember, they've had a revolving door of wide receivers over there. They went out there and got Zay Flowers. They had Odell Beckham at one point. This year in the offseason, they went and added DeAndre Hopkins. Like, going to this year, they added D-Hop. So last year was really the first time that he got adequate targets, being healthy, and he produced. He had a career high of 756 receiving yards last year, which would have been clearly the second most productive wide receiver on the Dallas Cowboys, right? We know that our boy Jalen Tolbert only got like 600 and some change. He was 8th in receiving touchdowns across the league. He had 9 touchdowns on the year. He had the same amount of touchdowns for perspective as a Drake London, right? He had more touchdowns than a guy like Jameson Williams, who only had 7. He had more touchdowns than Jalen Tolbert, who only had 7. There was a bunch of wide receivers with bigger names that he scored more touchdowns than. He was 5th in the entire National Football League in yards per reception. He averaged 16.8 yards per reception. He had multiple explosive plays. There was even a game this year where he had 2 catches of 49 yards or more, and that was against Tampa Bay. And we showed that. That was the last game we showed, matter of fact, last night in the film breakdown. He completely torched them. He torched them. Ended up with 121 yards on like 4 catches and a touchdown. It was immaculate. 3rd in passer rating when targeted. So for reference, passer rating when targeted, that shows how efficient the quarterback was when throwing the ball in his vicinity or in his direction. Lamar Jackson had the privilege of throwing to him and a passer rating of 132.2 when he threw the ball to Rashod Bateman. Remember, there were very few times where Rashod Bateman was bullshitting. Now, there were some times where Lamar Jackson targeted him and it was basically a throwaway, but there was very few times when he threw the ball to Rashod Bateman and good things didn't happen. He was open. He got upfield. He got first downs. He was productive. He scored touchdowns. So you understand with the cumulative things he did, all those first downs, why the passer rating would be so high when targeting him. And remember, he did get into the playoffs. And two playoff games played this year, he scored 2. Because I think Jones is be hating on me sometimes. Put a 1 in the chat so y'all can hear me, because I had some connection problems for like 2 seconds. Just let me know that I'm back and y'all can fully hear me and understand me, and I'll keep cooking. I'll keep cooking for y'all on this wonderful Saturday morning. You know, we got eggs and breakfast and toast over here right now, man. But we chefing it up. All right, you ain't ever got to worry about Bateman and his route running ability. Okay, we are back then. Cool. So him scoring those touchdowns show his ability to show up in games that matter. You producing in playoff games is always going to be a plus for me, right? And it shows that the stage is too big for you. It shows that when your number is called in clutch moments, you can come up with the ball and you can make a play for your team, right? So I like that. 6 passes for 97 yards in the postseason. That's good. Matter of fact, if we're just doing the simple math on that, you divide that 97 by 6, that's similar. That's real similar to his regular season production. In the regular season, he averaged 16.8 yards a catch, in the postseason, where things are harder, defenses are tougher, he still averaged 16.1. Right, he is a guy that truly has some upside, and I understand why the Dallas Cowboys were interested. Remember, this is not no random dude that us, the content creators, found. This ain't no random dude us, the content creators, found. This is somebody that Nick Harris brought up by name in this clip right here. If you just
was getting tossed around before the draft, but since the draft, I say building team interest because they don't have a receiver coming out of the draft, and so there's plenty of options on the table. Whether it's a George Pickens or a Rashod Bateman, we talked about those as far as trade targets. There's trade targets around the league, and I think that's what Dallas is really trying to sort through at the moment to try.
So that's why we've been looking at Rashod Bateman so heavy. That's why we did a late night film session last night. That's why I'm up here going through the stats and the background of him, because there is a realistic possibility that the wide receiver that they end up trading for is Rashod Bateman, given his pedigree, given his route running ability that makes him very Dak friendly, and given his current contract. Because I want you to understand, when you compare Rashod Bateman's contract to some of these other guys, he is right up Stephen Jones' alley. He's right up Stephen Jones' alley because his contract is very doable. It's very, very doable. Right? So this year, Rashod Bateman's cap hit is only $5.1 million. Next year, his cap hit is only 7.8. So if you traded for Rashod Bateman, you will control his contract for the next 2 years, paying him barely above $6 million a year, right? While getting a former first-round pick with elite route running ability, 4.43 speed, all of that for $12 million over the next 2 years. $12 million over the next 2 years, so $6 million a pop. That is very Moneyball, Stephen Jones kind of roster building. Is it going to be another fourth? Maybe. I am so high on Rashod Bateman, I would give up a fourth. Maybe they can finagle it to be a fifth because it is a former first round pick that hasn't lived up to the expectations of a former first round pick. Even though we had a great season last year and it's a clear improvement of what we have. But maybe. But maybe a fifth, maybe a sixth, maybe a pick swap. I'm down to listen. I'm down to listen to, any trade scenario that's reasonable to get Rashod Bateman in the building, because I believe he'll be an instant impact player and a clear upgrade over what we currently got. We know that Jalen Tolbert isn't the best route runner. We know that he struggles to get open at times. You never have to worry about that with Rashod Bateman. Never. Matter of fact, I'm the numbers guy, so I had to bring y'all some more advanced metrics surrounding him. So air yards per target, and this is all according to NFL Pro. This is also where we watch a lot of film at. So if y'all wants to watch your own all 22 films on players, just go get NFL Plus. And once you got an NFL Plus subscription, you'll be able to go and take a look at all 22 film and different advanced metrics on NFL Pro when it comes to these guys. All right, so air yards per target, 14.7, we were second in the National Football League. Right, so air yards per target. So they were throwing the ball to him intermediately, sort of deep. Right, second best in the league. Yards per reception, as we mentioned, 16.8. But what I did not mention is that 16.8 was the second best in the National Football League. Deep throw, and these are passes that went 20 yards in the air. Catch rate, 50%. And that was 4th best in the National Football League. 4th. And then receiving touchdowns, he had 9. That was 6th best in the National Football League. So they got him ranked as 6th over here on the advanced metrics. So really, when you look at him in a vacuum, if you remove the name, and I told you there was a wide receiver who was top 10 in receiving in receiving touchdowns, that was top 10 in deep ball catching, that was top 3 in yards per reception, and top 2 in yards per target, you probably would think this was an all-pro wide receiver, right? If I just told you that without the name. Man, I hate my service. I keep going in and out. So that's my apologies. I know it was probably like a little blacked out for a little second, but I should be back right now. I should be back. We fighting the Wi-Fi monster. We fighting Eagles fans. We fighting haters, and we fighting mediocrity over here in the liquor store, man. But we gonna persevere. But make sure y'all hit that like and share button, man. We gonna keep rocking. And shout out to my boy Common Sense Labs in the building, man. Thank you for tapping in and showing love to the liquor store. But yeah, Rashod Bateman across the board would be a great fit for the Dallas Cowboys. He would be a great fit for what Schottenheimer is trying to build. He seems to be a good kid. He doesn't have any character concerns from what I've researched. No character concerns at all. He's a great route runner, meaning he'll be Dak friendly. He has 4.43 speed, meaning that he can and will threaten defenses deep. He beats zones. He beats man-to-man coverage one-on-one because of his route running ability. He still gets open. He still makes explosive plays in the passing game. So there's a bunch of positives surrounding Rashod Bateman. The reason that I've done so much work, the reason that we looked at so much film and we crushed so many numbers, is I don't want folks to, if Rashod Bateman is the guy we bring in, I don't want y'all to sit here and act like he's a scrub just because y'all aren't educated on him. There will be people that will cry. There will be people that have not watched any film on him. There will be people that haven't looked at any advanced metrics on him. There will be people that haven't done their homework on Rashod Bateman and will say it's a bad move, he's a bad player, yada, 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 so on and so forth. When in reality, we watched 7 games with Rashod Bateman last night. I ain't see teams successfully cover him the entire time. He was always open in the zone. When they dared play him man-to-man, he was cooking wide receivers one-on-one. He made explosive plays vertically. He made contested catches coming back to the football. He created separation at a high clip. And a lot of folks don't know this shit about him. You just hear the name. He's not a big name wide receiver. You know, he hasn't exactly lived up to his draft standing because of injuries and because of the offensive scheme he's in. And folks just automatically assume that he's not a good wide receiver. And I'm here to tell you that's not the case. If you were to get Rashod Bateman, he is probably an 800 to 900 yard receiver with Dak Prescott if he stays healthy. If he is healthy in this offense, getting true wide receiver 2 targets and opportunities, he is an 800 to 900 yard wide receiver, and he probably goes double digit touchdown. Damn, I hate my Wi-Fi, dog. I think I'm back up. He can have similar production to a Jordan Addison if given the opportunity to play beside somebody of the ilk of CeeDee Lamb and with a quarterback like Dak Prescott, right? I truly believe that he could. based on his route running ability, his ability to create explosive plays, and everything else that we've highlighted. Is a great fit. But I want to hear from y'all feel about Rashod Bateman, given what we taught y'all. I want y'all to put it in the chat box. Y'all talk to me about what you think about Rashod Bateman after everything that we highlighted and everything we shown. And if you ain't watched the film session, go and do that. Go take a gander at it and then report back, because I want to hear from y'all. But put in the chat box what y'all think about Rashod Bateman. And damn, Money Sky, I didn't try to hide you, bro. I hit the wrong fucking button. I'm so sorry, bro. I am so sorry, Money Sky. I did not try to do that. That was me. I'll make sure to get you back in here somehow. But I did not try to hide you. I did not try to do that. Matter of fact, let me try and unhide you while I'm waiting for y'all to put this in the chat box. Yeah, that was me. That was an error on my part. So y'all let me go in here and try and get Money Sky back in the building, because God knows I did not try to hide that boy. It's good. I'll trade a fifth for my boy Elijah Robinson. He said, dang, did I miss something? Did we trade for him or trying to get him? I just got home from work. What's up, Lou? Shout out to my brother Lou Take in the building too, man. If you're curious, yeah, brother. He was a name that was brought up by Nick Harris as a trade target for the Dallas Cowboys the day he kicked the tires on. Right, and we know they're still working the phone trying to get trades done. So this is why we're talking about him, Neo. This is why we're talking about him.
Was getting tossed around.
Hold on.
Was getting tossed around before the draft, but since the draft, I say building team interest because they don't have a receiver coming out of the draft, and so there's plenty of options on the table. Whether it's a George Pickens or a Rashod Bateman, we talked about those as far as trade targets. There's trade targets around the league, and I think that's what Dallas is really trying to sort through at the moment to try.
So that's why we were bringing up Rashod Bateman. Nick Harris named him by name as a wide receiver. Man, hold on. I hate this damn thing, bro. It damn near did the same thing to Lou. Because I'm not trying to mute or do none of that shit to my folks in here, man. I'm trying to undo this shit right now, though. That's gonna bother me. Because bro donated and everything. He need to be seen and he need to be in here. So I got to find how to undo this shit real quick. Y'all just bear with me. Y'all please bear with me, because I'm trying to undo this shit as we talk. And shout out to my boy Jay too, man. And Jay, what makes you say we're not gonna trade for Rashod Bateman? They said George Pickens denied his trade to Dallas. I mean, he doesn't actually have a say in it. Like, George Pickens is on a rookie deal, and he doesn't have a no trade clause. He's not like Dak Prescott. If they wanted to ship him to the UFL, calculation, like, that's he. Can't actually deny. So if they shipped him to the Browns, the Jets, if they shipped him to the Arkansas Razorbacks, he couldn't do nothing but show up to work, lie and say he happy to be there, and keep hustling and keep grinding. You know what I'm talking about? He ain't got that ilk yet. He on a rookie deal. So let me see. I'm gonna figure it out, bro. I'm gonna get my bro back in here, man. Cause I'm having trouble finding where that is. Cause I don't think he's blocked. I just think he's hidden, and I hate that shit. That's why you got to be careful when you're hitting buttons and you're controlling the stream, man. That's why you got to be careful when you're hitting buttons to control the stream. Oh, you a Ravens fan? They said y'all give us Tylen. Hell no, I don't want Tylen Wallace. We want your boy, man. We want your boy. We want your guy, man. And listen, the only reason his name came up, man, listen. You also heard folks on the Dallas Cowboys podcast say that Tyler Booker played against Jalen Carter and it was cap. Just because it was on the Steelers channel don't mean them niggas know what they talking about. On the cool. Because that don't even sound realistic, Cowboy execution. Like, oh man, the dude that doesn't have a no trade clause deny the trade. That shit don't work. They don't give a damn about his feelings. If they want him gone, they would have shipped him. Now the Steelers probably want to keep him around because they know his potential and his upside. But I don't believe that I don't think he had to cast shade to deny a trade, honestly. Because the trade package was good enough, he would be a Dallas Cowboy. Yeah, this like them folks try and lie and say that Tyler Booker played against Jalen Carter. They never lined up against each other in college. Not a single snap. But you got that shit going live, going viral, and folks just running with it without Googling or looking into it. But yeah, Jay, the only reason that we talk about Rashod Bateman is Nick Harris said that he was a trade target for by the Dallas Cowboys. That's it. And I'll say this, man, where there is smoke, there is fire usually. So who knows? Especially when y'all went out there and got the D-Hop. So like hell, y'all might not be viewing Rashod Bateman the same. I would love to have him over here in Dallas though. He's a superb route runner, and I think he's very, very, very Dak Prescott friendly. He really not. I keep losing service. I might have to end the stream shortly, but to read your comment, he said Pickens is too cocky for me. He's really not that good. He decent though. In terms of fit, I think a true route runner is a better fit for the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think about Pickens as a superb route runner. He's a baller and a gamer. You throw the ball in his vicinity and he makes plays on it. I'm not 1,000% sure that he would vibe with Dak Prescott though the same way. I think Dak Prescott likes for guys to be exactly what they're supposed to be, break off the routes at the right angle so they can create their own separation. I think he likes route technicians way more than 50-50 guys. Now, do I think that he can operate with one? Sure. He's a veteran quarterback. But I think the preference for a Dak Prescott would be somebody that he can trust to be where they're supposed to be and get them the ball on time. Because Dak Prescott, when he plays in rhythm, is a much different quarterback than when he plays off schedule. Especially the older he gets. He can still make off schedule plays, but you really prefer for him to, his career. People say someone is too cocky. That said person isn't very confident in their self. I forgot about D-Hop. Yeah, so y'all went out there and got y'all wide receiver too. I'm good. Go ahead and trade for Bateman. Yeah, man. Yeah, I ain't finna fight. So I'll be back live later on. Maybe the Wi-Fi monster ain't gonna be trying to attack us and tear us down at that point. I appreciate everybody for sliding in and showing love and supporting the content. Make sure on the way out, y'all hit that share button. Make sure on the way out, y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all slap the dog shit out of an Eagles fan. And make sure y'all please hit that Cash App, man, to help keep the lights on in the liquor store. It's down there at the bottom, $ Henny the more. You can hit the, hey, listen, we back monetized too on the channel, man. So y'all make sure y'all hit those super chats too, y'all, if y'all got time. We'll have memberships back up for exclusive film breakdowns by the end of the month. So we'll be back. We'll be back with the memberships by the end of the month, man. So salute to y'all, everybody that supported us through these dark times. We back up. God is good. The Dallas Cowboys might actually be good this year. They pull the trigger and get a wide receiver. And with y'all, in the words of West Coast Cowboy,